Hello, and welcome back to an all new episode of Caregivers Community. I'm Danielle Gray. Today, we are going to talk about. I know I've done a video before about this, but I wanted to talk about this on topic again, just in case nobody saw it. I just want to talk about grief before loss. So, I heard this really great. I love this show called Mom. Let's start off with that. I saw this show years ago, and I still watch it to this day on Prime Video, and it's called Mom, and it was by CBS. And there is this really, really wonderful quote that I love to just remind myself of. There is this character called Wendy and Marjorie, and they're talking, and Marjorie has just lost her husband, and it feels like she's not grieving properly. And Wendy turns around and says to her, Marjorie, I see this a lot at the hospital. A lot of family members and loved ones grieve the loss of their loved one long before they have passed, especially if they've been sick for a very long time. I know I didn't say that right, so let me just pull that up, like the quote, the real quote, so I can actually say it properly. Okay, so the real quote is, I see this a lot at the hospital. When someone is sick for a long time, their families mourn them before they die. It's perfectly natural. And I just love that quote from Wendy from Mom, because the truth is, as family caregivers and as even family members of loved ones who have ended up having terminal illnesses or things like dementia or just an unexpected death that we may have not seen coming but also have seen coming at the same time. I know that sounds really confusing. It really is, because there's no other way to explain it. But yeah, we mourn long before the person has passed away, especially when they've been sick for a long time. That is perfectly natural. And sometimes we even mourn things that are happening during that time when the person has an illness, and they're also mourning themselves, which is normal. Because things are happening to their bodies that are not natural, not normal in any way. So the loved one that has the terminal illness or certain disease or anything could be also grieving themselves, which is a normal process when it comes to grief. I mean, grief is natural in general. It's doesn't feel natural because we're not really taught that it's something like that is natural. I actually have a personal story of when my brother, who passed away at age 30, he actually wouldn't mind me sharing this because it would be helping people, so I'm just going to share it. And yeah, so he passed away at the age of 30. He was acting really strange at the time and suffering from major migraines. We weren't really sure what was happening, but his personality kept changing. There were things about him that were not normal him behavior. And yeah, so he started acting really, really weird. And for the longest time, and we couldn't figure it out, and we kept trying to get doctors to get him MRIs, and nothing, doctors would refuse to. And by the time he passed away, a couple of days before Christmas actually, he ended up the coroner ended up doing an autopsy and found cysts on his brain, and they caused him to pass away. And nobody was really paying attention to that, because we thought, okay, well, maybe maybe he's just acting different because like his personality's changing, he's getting older. There's certain things, but things weren't adding up to us when he was alive. He was acting stranger than normal, and he was such an optimistic person when he was alive that when he started to not be so optimistic, even at the worst of times, that was kind of like a really big um, sign for us because he usually wasn't an angry person either. He would be upset like a normal, natural human being, but he wasn't really angry either, and he was getting angrier, and um, he was acting really, really weird. And I don't want to disclose all the details because that is a personal thing that he experienced, and also I don't really want people judging my brother for the things that he may or may not have done to survive the pain that he was suffering. But that's not the point. The point is that I was grieving him a little bit more. I think like maybe a couple of months before he passed away. I didn't really know for sure, but my gut kept saying that he was going to pass away. That there's something was wrong, and nobody was listening to my mom and I. These doctors were just dismissing him left and right, and we're just like, oh, no big deal, like he can get over it, like no, he doesn't need an MRI, he's too young for an MRI. And we were like, but he's not well. And he even said, there's something wrong with me. I'm in so much pain I can't figure it out. And the fact that every single doctor that we went to, our family doctor as well, just dismissed his symptoms. The grief was just unbearable, and I think that we were numb. I was numb for about a year after he passed away because, like, I couldn't grieve. I literally couldn't grieve. I was depressed, and I was more anxious than normal. I was sleeping more than normal, but I wasn't crying. I couldn't figure out why I wasn't crying. I couldn't figure out why I was so in survival mode. When it came to him passing away, it was a very weird kind of time that whole year because I wasn't crying. Um, I was behaving like a normal person. The first couple of weeks, though, before Christmas, even a couple of days, even after Christmas, and after a couple of like weeks, maybe after Christmas, maybe even a month, I can't really remember because the time was such a blur. I remember being in such survival mode. The only thing that I couldn't do was make anything to eat, even though I was like starving like a crazy person. Thank God that that we had family members who basically ordered us pre-made food that were giving it to us for like a really long time because I couldn't physically cook anything for some reason after Christmas. It was just like, okay, so Christmas came around, total survival mode, like decorated the house, cooked Christmas dinner, acted completely normal. As far as my behavior, there was a little bit of a weirdness happening, but it was more like a weird grief silence. It was just kind of like, oh, he's not here. But when it came to after Christmas, it's like my brain shut off and was like, I can't cook anymore, I can't function anymore, but I also wasn't crying. So it just found it to be, I thought that I was broken for a really long time. And it turns out that when I was watching the show Mom at CBS's Mom, you can Google it, the show, and find it on Prime Video. Maybe in Canada and the States you can find it. I'm not too sure where you can find it anywhere else. And I'm not sponsored by Prime Video. I'm just saying that the show Mom really helped when I saw that episode. And every time I see that episode, it's kind of like a reminder that when Wendy says to Marjorie that her grieving her husband long before he passed away, it makes sense because, I mean, you grieve your loved one long before they passed away. I mean, I have many moments because my mom has stage 3 metastatic ovarian cancer. I grieve her at times. I mean, I grieved her hair when she lost her hair because of chemo. I'm grieving parts of her now that are her, and she's grieving parts of her as well that are her, and it's all very upsetting, and that's normal. And it just shows. I also heard this one quote too that said, I don't remember exactly how to word it. I don't know if I'm going to word it properly on this episode, but grief is love. Grief is love, and it's just like it shows that like you love that person deeply when you grieve them. I know that that's not the right way of like how it's said. I don't really remember how it was worded. But grief is basically love heightened, and yeah. So like I take these quotes with me that have to do with a lot with grief and a lot with losing loved ones before their time, or before, or while they're dealing with a terminal illness or a sickness or anything. Even with old age, this is totally normal too. Even when your parents get older, or like your loved one gets older, like a grandparent or something, you're going to grieve them long before they have passed away, because that's just what we do as humans. I mean, we even grieve like a, a, an empty nest, like when our kids, like when kids move out, and go to college or start their new lives. Like it's that's a grief as well. Like these are just like normal things, and I don't remember what the word is that this kind of grief that has actually happened. I'm going to leave a description in my video that's words. There's an actual word for this, for grief, before the loss, and I don't know how the word, I don't remember how to say it, and I don't remember what the word is at the moment, but I do know that there is a certain description, a certain kind of like thing that describes, and there is an actual word for it, for loss before, grief before loss. So I'm going to leave that in the description of the video so you can read the definition of it. But it basically is just, yeah, it's normal and it's natural. And I think as humans, we've been doing it for maybe millions of years now. I don't know how long we've been on this planet, but we've been doing it for as long as we've been here. And it's a natural feeling. It's a natural thing. When you love somebody so deeply, the loss of losing somebody is really hard, and there's no right way to grieve. I mean, I'm still grieving in my own way for my brother, and I know that I'm not doing it properly, but I'm trying to live my life and trying to find positive ways to help in any way, to kind of just kind of support his memory, but also kind of support also my mom's memory. Even though she's still alive, I want to make a difference while she is still alive, being her family caregiver. I want to make a difference in this world with family caregivers, because I we deal with a lot, and I just want to give as much advice as humanly possible, because there is such a love there that we're doing. We as family caregivers do this job out of love, out of unconditional love, quite frankly. And yeah, and I just think that that we need to stop beating ourselves up, because we do grieve loss very, because it's in our face all the time. We're exhausted, and yeah, we're grieving the loss of our loved one, and it's not easy to see somebody that you love, whether they get older and older and they pass away, or they end up getting older, or they have a terminal illness at a extremely young age, whether it be a child a friend or a family member and you see somebody who you love get a terminal illness at any age, that's not easy. You're going to grieve that person, and that's perfectly normal. The fact that you do care about that person and you are grieving that loss already just shows that you have a whole soul and have a heart and have some kind of love for that person, and it's probably unconditional love because you have stepped up to be a caregiver for them. And I just want everybody to know that it's okay to cry, it's okay to be angry. Part of feeling grief is feeling resentment, feeling anger, feeling sadness, feeling a whole bunch of feelings, feeling love, feeling gratitude. It's just all over the place when it comes to like loss and sadness. There's just a lot of feelings. There's stress, there's anxiety, there's frustration. Grief is a complex emotion, and it doesn't always come out as tears and crying. It comes out as frustration and anger. It comes out as resentment and anxiety. It comes out in so many different ways that sometimes you don't even really know what you're feeling is grief because it doesn't come out like that. So yeah, grief before loss is normal, and it's sad that we experience these things as human, but it's normal as human beings. It's sad that we experience them, but it's normal, and we should look at it more so as a place of coming from a place of love rather than a place of like dread, because a grief shouldn't be looked at as a terrible, awful thing. It should just be looked at as a loving gesture that we're making towards our loved ones because we love them. And if feeling grief is a part of life, then so be it. And if it comes out in different ways and you don't feel like that is a normal part of grief, you are experiencing all the symptoms of grief. And stress is even a part of grief sometimes. So when you feel overwhelmed, even that's grief. So just make sure that, like, you know, you're seeing that you're part of like a community in some ways, a church, maybe a caregivers group, some kind of organization that's a bereavement group, like some kind of like group, a grief group that can help you through this terrible loss, because us as human beings need a community to go to support and hear other people's stories, and also have people like support us and hear our stories, because being a part of this world in life in general and just living and also passing away, there's just a lot to unpack. And I think that we need to care for each other, and we need to go to support groups that can care for us, and people that are equipped to know the tools that we'll be able to take with us in our life to be able to handle grief. And there are people that are trained properly and know how to handle and know how to get people through grief at any stage. So yeah, you should be going to like a caregivers group or just a support group in general, any support group, a bereavement group or a grief group as they call them, like anything that feels right to you, church, anywhere that feels authentic to you. You should be going to somebody in your community and turning around and maybe trusting them with the process of grief, and maybe they will know a way to help you through it so you can get through it one day at a time, and you can actually start to feel more like yourself again. Whatever that may feel like, you're always going to carry the loss with you. It's just going to become less and less hard, whatever that means, because loss is a terrible thing, and grieving is a lifetime of a process to kind of handle and to even process. So, yeah, life and death are very, very, very sad, but we can also, we'll be able to make it through life and still hold on to that grief at the same time. That's perfectly natural. It's perfectly possible. As long as you have good people around you that make you feel like you are seen and heard and can talk about the grief of your loved one and even things that you're going through currently with loved ones, and maybe even talking to the person that you're caring for about their grief and a grief for themselves, and just being a support system for them is just your way of showing love and gratitude and just being a really good caregiver. So, yeah, and a human in general. So, thank you for watching this video. I know that I was rambling a little bit, but I really wanted to make sure that you guys, if you haven't seen my last grief video, I wanted to make sure that you guys were seeing any kind of grief video because, and I'm more equipped now to tell you these details now that I have been able to, like have had some time with my own grief. I feel like I've been able to kind of give you some advice and give you some pointers because I have gone through it. So yeah, so just keep it on, one foot in front of the other. Don't forget to laugh and smile and to have fun and to dance and to be silly and to color and to act like a child sometimes, because that's the best form of healing through grief. And as as I always say, let's put the care back in caregiving. And thank you for watching my video this week. I really appreciate it. Once again, I really do appreciate everybody who has stood by the last couple of weeks. My microphone did die, and I had to purchase a new one. So thank you for everybody just being here and still supporting my channel. Yeah, so thank you so much, and have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week with an all new video. And as always, comment below if this resonates with you. Share the video with somebody who may be able to relate as well, and know that you are never alone in anything that you do. There is always going to be a support system, and it just so happens to be my channel, Caregivers Community. We are a community of love, and we are all about putting the care back in caregiving. So until next week, bye for now. Okay, thank you so much.